Hello and welcome back to Card Spotlight. We have Ruunin the Relentless this week, a legendary creature that recently got changed along with all the other star legendaries. Now, if you don't know what the star legends are, they are all the lead characters of each color. So Ruunin, Aurora, Cypher, and Kaleem. Now, what happened is all the star legends had their land cost increased to stop any kind of early game momentum produced by stuff like Aurora, Cypher, and Kaleem. Now, Ruunin wasn't really involved in this early game momentum plays when they were at 2 lands. In fact, the card was pretty much unplayed in competitive play. But now, this change has made her much better because alongside the land nerf, they gave her a Faeria buff. She went from 6 Faeria to 5 Faeria, making her a viable choice. And in the article in the description, I go into detail of why this change is so huge for Ruunin. It's a lot to do with being able to play her after she's killed. The 1 Faeria difference is actually quite huge. So today we're going to be taking mono green for a spin on the ladder. Now keep it in mind that the adventure pouch launched this week, so things are starting to change already in the Faeria metagame in preparation for the Oversky. So we'll see how Ruunin performs in mono green on ladder in these matches. Alright guys, we are into our first game and we're going up against Plorn, a very, very good Faeria player. One of the top 4 contenders in monthly cups of the past. So this is going to be a tough game. I'm going to actually keep Ruunin in my opening hand because I want to show you guys how she performs. So we'll just mulligan these 2. And a pretty slow hand overall, but we'll work with it. Well, I think we'll be fine. And if you notice, I have a new avatar. Check out this little guy. The Rakoa, as they're called. And these are the little people who live up in the Oversky, and they're not an aggressive people. They're very peaceful. They like exploration. They like all sorts of stuff like that. They're very friendly. But you know, as the Emperor of Murnast is currently waging war up there, they're more than happy to help all the other different Faeria characters in their quest to defeat the Emperor. So we won't be seeing any of these guys just yet, but as Oversky gets released over the next few weeks, be sure to look out for them. Alright, so I wonder what Plorn is actually running. Now, Mistral Guide was a card that was recently changed. It was changed to Wildlands. It used to be 4 deserts, but now it's 2 desert, 2 wildlands. So I'm expecting to see a fair amount of of Mistral Guides in our matches. I was playing with Mistral Guide a lot myself today. And it looks like Plorn is going with good old green-red Crackthorn. And that's a deck that Ruunin can feature in. Now I might play this a more control style match rather than going down the opposite end of my opponent. Because as I said in my deck doctor last week, green-red Crackthorn has a lot of great ways to make momentum. And one way we can stop this is by defending quite early on. And we're going to get Ruunin down. Dash is not going to be relevant. But the one thing with Ruunin is she is going to be very tough to kill for a Crackthorn deck. She's going to keep coming back. So getting her down early is always going to be a good thing. And I don't know if you guys just noticed that then, but Ruunin's got some cool new animations. So all of the star legends, which I talked about earlier, now have animations attached to their cards. So Ruunin's Guidance has an animation, Ruunin's Presence has an animation, Cypher's Wrath, Cypher's Fodder, for example. So keep an eye out for those in your journeys in Faeria. Now we're going to just take care of this guy with the Emperor's Command. Bring him down to size so we can trade, collect a Faeria, and then Ruunin is just getting back into the game. She is now a 6/6. And she is going to be causing trouble for Plorn. Because when she dies again, I'm going to have an 8/8. And the bigger she gets, the more awkward she'll become. Now, Crackthorn does run Voice of Truth. But I'm not that concerned simply because I'll just play her again and she'll get powered up again. This is why Ruunin's so good. She's just a nightmare to deal with. Now, if Plorn was to invest resources to kill Ruunin once more, I have 1 Faeria remaining. So if I do lose Ruunin, I can +1 back into Ruunin again. But I think we'll probably just see an Axe Grinder here. And maybe just leave Ruunin up for now. And this gives me a little bit of breathing room. And it'll give me an opportunity to set up a Thorian Golem as well. I'd like to set something up on this side, but I'll probably wait until I draw something like a living willow in order to set up a collector that's going to stick to the board and keep harvesting off this well. But right now, I'm far more interested in pushing up this left side, challenging Polawn's creatures, and taking control with my bulky green creatures. Now, I'm wondering what Polawn's thinking about. Is he thinking about, do I kill this Ruunin now? If I do, my opponent's probably just going to +1 and do it again. So he's actually going to retreat and maybe play a Cypher there. Nope, just going to pass. And speaking of living willows, there's one right there. So how do I want to manage this? I don't quite need willow just yet. I actually think we clear this. Take a forest in here, then Faeria Golem. This is actually the bigger threat right now. Or alternatively, I could just clear this and then Faeria Golem, but this gets the move, which I don't really like. Let's keep... Actually, I can't do that. This is very clever play from Polawn because of the taunt. So perhaps I do have to go for a Grove Guardian after all. So yeah, so let's forest in here. Take care of this guy. Now this actually makes Ground Shaker a little less effective this turn, because Ruunin will survive. There's actually a clean clear with the Overgrown Tower, and I don't think I mind too much because it's actually Faeria positive for Polawn. Maybe I needed a Faeria Golem here. I mean, yeah, that's perhaps a misplay from me. We'll see. And if he Flame Bursts this now, or this gets killed, he will be able to... oh, it lives. It lives. That's really good. So if you're able to... This is the problem now. This can actually kill this on a good draw. So let's Willow into feed to start off with. Let's get some resources. Horsemaster? Nope. Okay. I'm actually just going to shrink this. I think we can collect off this well. And then we can Wood Elemental. Could Wood Elemental here, actually, and then push double neutral, and then get this into double collection. And this is 5 life. It's going to be a bit of a pain for Polawn to kill it efficiently. So this is actually looks pretty good for me right now. I'm not under a lot of pressure, and this Ruunin still needs to be dealt with. I mean, if he invests, say, a Cypher's Wrath in this now, I'll just get to play it next turn. And it looks like he might just do a trade-off. Maybe Elderwood Embrace. Oh, Ground Shaker. That's fair. And she's back, and I'm collecting, so she's definitely coming back. As an 8/8. 8/8. How does a cracked form player deal with an 8/8? Not very easily, that's the answer. And if it dies again, I get a 10/10. So good. She's just so good now. I actually really enjoy playing Ruunin. Now, I don't really care about damage to my orb, but stop and double collection is pretty important. This Ground Shaking can actually get value off just clearing my Wood Elemental before my Ruunin goes into it. But honestly, I don't think I mind that much. Tough call. Maybe I accept the fate of my Ground Shaker here. There is an Overgrown Tower. I need to keep that in mind. And then maybe I just dash here. I can't really, unless I build a land. I think I just put Ruunin. I just slot Ruunin in here and use the Wood Elemental to take care of this later. We're not gonna dash. And then we're going to move this Voice of Truth into double collection on the right-hand side, so we take control of the right-hand side completely. This might promote more aggressive lines from Pelorn. Horsemaster here might be a little dangerous, actually, so maybe I should have played Ruunin in this spot preemptively. Like I said, taking the value here, but we get to double collect then clear the Ground Shaker, which is pretty good for us. Might see the Overgrown Tower go on here just to push damage. It's not totally unreasonable. I'm just curious what else Pelorn has. We have maybe I'm not sure. Probably just pushing damage this turn, which is completely reasonable. Oh, we have healing. That's so good, guys. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we can just clear this. No problem. Let me just take +1. So the reason I didn't draw there is because I don't think I really need it. If I can get 10 Faeria next turn, like maybe I can just go Wood Elemental Vision Force. I probably have to heal next turn, so I have 2 Faeria just floating now for that heal. There's no way I die this turn. I mean, triple Flame Burst. Triple Flame Burst will do it, but I don't think I should play around triple Flame Burst. It seems a bit unrealistic. This is actually a big issue for Pelorn right now. If I was a Crackthorn player, I'd be like, right, I actually just need to win this game as quickly as possible, because if you were to invest resources into killing this, it's just so counterproductive, because the resources that you're going to need to apply pressure and push damage. Now, another Crackthorn could be pretty deadly, but it's not a Crackthorn, fortunately for me. Might see a Cypher's Wrath come in here just to stop me from double collecting. That's not totally unreasonable. Then I can hit this. If I pick up Horsemaster, I'll just clear the board. And then just replay Ruunin. I tell you what, guys, I am a top deck master. And I don't even know why. I don't know why the Lords of Faeria decided, you know what, Aqua, you are just going to pull every card you want whenever you want it. I just feel so evil. Look at this. This is ridiculous. She's back. Go +1. We'll take a taunt. Push a land out here. And we will just heal just in case. But it's very, very, very unlikely that I can lose from this position. If I lose from this position, it's because Pelorn is a fantastic player, which he is. I know he is. From watching him and commentating on him in previous monthly cups. Cypher's Wrath, that's fair. And then maybe just a Wood Elemental. Yeah, okay, that's fine. The problem Pelorn's going to have now is I've set up this forest up here for a very specific reason. I'm basically just going to double neutral. Here, perhaps? And then just dash Ruunin into this spot here. So basically, Ruunin sets up 2-turn lethal for me, unless Pelorn has healing of his own, or can somehow remove this Ruunin. I guess one way you could slow down the bleeding here is with, yeah, probably with a Voice of Truth, but I think it's more just delaying the inevitable than anything. So there we go, just slapping Ruunin down against Crackthorn in the early game. Such a nightmare for them, and I put healing in this deck specifically. If you remember my deck doctor, I had a 2-card split of Elderwood Embrace and Guidance. I really like that split in green because it gives you utility, it gives you healing, it allows you to race easier. And yeah, that Guidance, you know, pretty much probably saved me from the burst damage of Flame Burst and other such cards. But Ruunin, fantastic start for her already. Let's get into some more matches. Up next, we have Alva. It's going to be our next opponent. Alva is, again, a top contender in the monthly cups. Very competitive player, very strong ladder player as well. Now, I've played Alva a few times today already. I actually use a game against Alva in my example about... An example I make in the Ruunin article for Card Spotlight. And he was playing mono green, actually. I was playing some Mistral Guide stuff. And we played a few games on ladder. He's already climbed to rank 7, so he's on the path to God rank once again. It wouldn't surprise me if he's God rank in the next couple of days. Right, it's looking like it's gonna be a mono green mirror. So Alva sticking to his guns from earlier, which is absolutely fine. Kind of just want to probably just forest up an Elderwood at this point, simply because if I was not to Elderwood, he could just Horsemaster. I don't have any mobility myself, so I'd rather challenge Alva right now. He could just double buff and clear. It's a bit miserable, but I'm the type of player that likes to force my opponent to have exactly what they need to deal with my cards. Now, 911 Verdant Force is pretty menacing right now. I guess you could go into Voice of Truth and trade. That's not too bad. But yeah, I feel like going for the aggressive route here is much better, especially if I picked up mobility, but I didn't, and it doesn't matter because I have good old Ruunin. Ruunin's gonna be able to leverage the board for me a little bit. Question is, do I dash up? Now, the problem with dashing up with Ruunin right now is Verdant Force just eats it and I lose 5 Faeria. But it does force Alva to build land here if he wants to collect. But Alva's probably wanting to build land anyway, which I think is fine. So I could just move the Verdant Force up and clear. Alternatively, I could just leave the Verdant Force here and wait for some mobility. But I think getting Ruunin down now is pretty good. Let's actually slot Ruunin behind. So what this allows us to do is, if Alva double buffs to clear my Verdant Force, I could clear it with the Ruunin on the follow-up. Now, if it's double Elderwood, I don't believe I can, but if it's not double Elderwood, you know, I have a way to take care of the Verdant Force. I get to collect as well with the Ruunin, and I'm able to potentially just play her again after she's been slain. So again, Ruunin just showing it. It's just showing how powerful Ruunin is. Look at this. Ruunin, good card. Very, very good card. All right, our next match. Ruunin is 2-0 right now. She's doing very well. So let's see how she does in this game. And the one thing about Ruunin at the moment, I haven't seen a lot of blue. So blue jump is not really rampant at the moment. So Ruunin becomes stronger when blue is not as used in the meta game. Sorry. Ruunin is a card that only blue has a clean answer to. Other colors don't have that, and they have to deal with Ruunin in a more honest fashion, be it through combat or be it through just ignoring her. And I don't think mono green players mind that so much. It's the transform effects that disrupt Ruunin, and is the only way you can really take her off the board and take her out of your opponent's hand. So if there's no mono blue around, guys, Ruunin is going to be a treat for you in your green decks. We have Shara on the opposite end. She has a dead yak around her. Shara! Don't ally with Krog. He's a slayer of yaks, and we don't like slayer of yaks. That's going to be a forest to start things off. We are going to do the same. We have a Faeria Golem sitting in the wings. And with this forest acceleration off the wood elemental, we're able to push into these wells much quicker when we challenge our opponent and get that Faeria Golem down early, which is going to help a lot when trying to take control of these two wells. And this is, I guess you can do this. This is what you want to do with green mainly anyway. You don't really have the opposite side race potential without the wood elemental. I mean, I could have went down opposite side, but I didn't feel the need to. With the Faeria Golem, I should be able to capture these two wells quite easily. Sometimes you can go down the opposite side, but like I said, Without the Wood Elemental, it's so slow. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. A wise man once said that. His name was Toto. I don't think that's his name, actually. I think that's just the name of the band. I can kill this, and I think it's worth it. I do slow down my Faeria Golem progression, but I do take control of my opponent's well. Very important here. And there we go. Taking care of that creature, no problem at all. And another Imperial guy comes out, and that's absolutely fine. Just because I have the Emperor's Command and my Wood Elemental will live to tell the tale. Feed the Forest, not too handy right now. We can start applying aggressive forests towards my opponent. Hold the line. Not really holding the line right now. Again, taken care of very easily. And already we have control of our opponent's wells. And as I said earlier on in this match, that was the goal. And Silent Horsemaster, time and time again, proven to be a fantastic card to apply this kind of pressure. And speaking of pressure, Mr. Pressure himself, we have Verdant Force coming down here. 7/7, going to be a bit of a problem for my opponent to deal with. Does shimmy back with the Elder. I'm going to see a Demon Wrangler come down to try and stop this Verdant Force from applying pressure, but I'm already going to get 7 damage. It's going to be very surprising if I don't push this 7 damage. But the big problem my opponent has is next turn, big old Faeria Golem's going to come down and apply even more pressure. And speaking of Ruunin, here she is. Now this is actually a situation where I'd rather ignore Ruunin because my opponent can afford to replay it. Now alternatively, I could move back, I could kill Ruunin, I could move this Wood Elemental up, and then I could play the Faeria Golem here. And that actually protects my Verdant Force and my Wood Elemental for next turn. Ruunin will come down again, but that will probably be the only play. And that actually, like I said, it gives me a bit of protection. Alternatively, I could push 7 damage, I suppose. That's another thing I could do. Just push 7, let this lock in. But this Verdant Force is going to die, and I'm not too keen on that happening. And the one thing I like about this is my Wood Elemental pushes onto this defensive land. I build the other forest. Probably just going to build it in the wells to slot my Silent Horsemaster in. And then we can drop this Faeria Golem. This protects my Verdant Force and gives me an opportunity next turn to either kill Ruunin or push 7 damage. But I think Ruunin's just going to come back down. No, Elderwood Hermit coming down. Interesting. With a Shaitan Assassin. But still not enough power to kill the Faeria Golem. So I might just have to pass on this. And if I do draw another Emperor's Command, I'm going to be in a really, really good spot. But I don't even need it right now. I can just do this. Hit. Hit. I could have had lethal if I drew a power-up off the feed, but I'd have to feed one of these guys, which I don't really want to do. I just play another Grove Guardian and pass. It's very hard for my opponent to win from this position as a sack player. Literally single-handedly relying on this assassin to do a lot of work. The Willow currently has it locked in position. It's going to feed the Demon Wrangler, so that is actually one of the creatures that could help in dealing with the Faeria Golem. I'm not sure what could be found here. Maybe a Choking Sands. But then what do? Do you just clear the Faeria Golem or the Grove Guardian? Very, very difficult spot to be in. There we have it. Another victory on the table there for Mono Green. Proven to be very strong at the moment. So let's get into another match. And let's see if anyone can take a game off this Mono Green. Our next match is going up against Foo Foo Foo. What a name. Foo Foo Foo, let's go. Verdant Force, that's fine. She's back. She's back to cause some trouble. And we're on the second as well, so we can see what our opponent's playing. A mountain. That's a land I like to see as a mono green player. We're going to go up one side. And we're going to see how annoying Ruunin's gonna be for a red player. It could actually just be burn. Okay, it's burn. That's not too bad for our friend here. But to be honest, if it's burn, I'm gonna play a little more aggressively here. Just double neutral forest into Verdant Force and go from there. Now burn, I tried burn with Mistral Guide recently. Didn't quite work how I wanted. I think the Kaleem's Training is just a better card when it comes to applying pressure with these guys. But I'm going to have healing. Hopefully that'll be able to keep me in the match. I'd love to pick up a Horsemaster next turn. You guys know how much I love Horsemaster. Horsemaster in these positions are beautiful. I even value Horsemaster more than the Sagami Grovecaller, if I'm honest. Now, I really, really, really want to push damage this turn, but I kind of feel like I should be defending. Just chucking a taunt down that demands an answer. If I'd known it was burn, I might have just left a forest here and explored. So I could have played a defender. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to go into a Willow as well, just to collect up a bottom well for us. Probably should have done that last turn, to be honest. There's no reason not to. But I missed it. It happens. Good Gift of Steel. Easy clear for a Brute. I do have a lot of healing. I have 2 Empress Commands and 2 Guidance. So maybe I didn't necessarily need this right now, but I've played enough burn to know that you can do a lot of damage if you don't respect a Brute. Another Brute. Cypher's Wrath. Okay. We have to apply pressure this turn. We have no choice. Just going to move this back. Try and kill this next turn. But I'm going to Ruunin here. Basically to free up my Verdant Force getting taunted. Then I'll take another land here. And then we'll start pushing damage. And then we'll use the heal to top ourselves back up. Now, without a training, this Brute is going to stay here or just move normally, which is kind of what I want, to be honest. I'm kind of hoping there isn't a Flash Wind either. I really want to kill this Brute next turn. Grand Shaker? Okay. That's actually fine. I think that works for me. I've taken a fair amount of damage, but the healing... See, I'm going to take extra damage from clearing this, unfortunately, but... man, that is actually really sad. Let's put it back in my hand. Let's kill this. This could be my first loss, guys. Sad times. Let's take the heal. And let's push for 7. And let's just hope. Maybe I shouldn't have healed them. Maybe I should have buffed. No, I had 5 life left, so 1 hit Flame Burst was dead. Cypher's Wrath, Flame Burst is dead as well, so it's pretty difficult. I have a Wood Elemental to keep things here for next turn, but these Brutes, you know, that Brute and those Grimguards, the damage started to add up. It's very sad. It's very bleak for me right now. I don't really see a way out. More healing, I guess. More healing would have been good. I'm going to Flame Burst my Willow to push 5 damage this turn and set up lethal for next turn. So, Guidance isn't even enough. And he's covered my forest. So again, this comes back to me going Explore Forest rather than Forest Explore. So that's something I've learned new today, because if I could Wood Elemental into healing, everything would be just fine. I'd be able to soak up one of these hits. guess I can draw, maybe? I don't know. Double heal. That changes things. I'm not dead yet. Yeah, I'm not dead just yet. I could win next turn. It's very unlikely, but that heal was a great top deck there. Still has to build land. Well, no, he doesn't have to build land and push damage. He can just shimmy across. Gift of Steel. Grimguard. Oh, man. Is there no lethal? Oh, I need a teleport. I need a teleport really badly. Let's do it. This is it, guys. Teleport or bust. Voice of Truth. Oh, I don't have enough Faeria. I don't have enough Faeria. 4 Faeria was really awkward for me. So maybe I needed to get... Maybe if I had played that Willow the same turn as my Verdant Force, I would have had extra Faeria to be able to make that play. So I think it comes down to me not playing that Willow earlier. So 2 things, 2 mistakes. And it's hard to read if this is going to be burned, but I think it's maybe a good fundamental in the future. Build a forest next to your orb and then explore. And then also develop that Willow a little earlier so I can collect some more Faeria. Let's see if I got the... Let's actually see if I got the teleport on my next draw. No. So it didn't matter anyway, but that's good games. Well played. And that is going to be the end of this episode of Card Spotlight. An unfortunate conclusion to Card Spotlight this week, but I was pretty happy with the deck's performance overall. We got to take down some pretty strong players, and Ruunin, what a fantastic card since it's changed. The going down to 5 Faeria is a major buff to Ruunin. If you haven't already, read the article below. I go in more depth about how much of a difference -1 Faeria makes to Ruunin, and give some good kind of like examples of why it's such a strong change. So be sure to check that out in the description below. If you haven't already, give us a subscribe. There's going to be loads of content coming now that we have Oversky on the horizon. I'm really looking forward to these new cards and these islands that are going to be released in the next few weeks. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up as well. We greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't checked it out, head over to Faeria.com/the-hub for all the latest articles, decks, and guides from myself and the community. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Ruunin the Relentless.